So let's start with our feet crossed, sitting up nice and tall. Awesome. If the knees start hurting, just scooch the feet away from you a little bit. Okay. And so we connect in with the sit bones and we find the sit bones on the floor. You might need to move the glutes out of the way. A heart nice and tall. Think about the belly button coming in up towards your heart, and the heart lifts up and the back of the head lifts up, but the shoulders stay nice and soft. And if you would like, you can softly close the eyes, have the hands on the knees or in the lap, and we're going to take a couple of moments just to settle down and to connect in with the breath. So with the eyes softly closed, just find the breath, feel it coming in and out at the nostrils. You might notice that the inhale is slightly cooler than the exhale. Checking in that the spine is nice and tall, the shoulders are relaxed, the jaw is relaxed, the face is relaxed, but the crown of the head's kind of lifting up as if a string is pulling up. And then with the next 3 inhales and exhales, let's think about the day, and with each exhale, let the day wash away all the cares, all the concerns, all the worries. And then with your next exhale, let your chin drop towards your chest. Keeping the heart lifted, let the chin release down. We're focusing on lengthening the back of the neck. So the head is going to be heavy, the shoulders are soft, but the heart is lifted. We're staying here a moment to give the neck time to relax. Think for a moment all the time that you have spent keeping your head up. So we can be gracious just for a moment and let the neck relax. And then gently guide your chin towards your right collarbone, keeping the left shoulder stationary on the back, moving the stretch to the side of the neck. With each exhale, envision that the muscles become longer, even if they don't. And then bring your head back to center, pause for a moment, and then gently guide your chin towards your left collarbone, keeping your right shoulder stationary on the back. And bringing the head back to center, you can softly open the eyes and find your hands in your lap, interlace your fingers, and then pushing the palms away, round the back, a nice stretch in the back. Ask your fingers if they're tight, if you've been typing all day or texting. Okay, and now we're going to inhale the hands up to the ceiling. So this is the first time we're asking some work of the back and the shoulders. If your shoulders at the top hurt, go ahead and bend your elbows. What we're going to do is we're going to lift the hands up toward the ceiling and try to draw the shoulder blades down the back. Yeah, there you go. Okay, a little bit of work. And then we're going to stretch to the right side, keeping the hands lifted. Nice stretch to the side. A little bit of core work snuck in there to keep you up, and then inhaling up and over to the left. And inhaling up, and let's bring the hands down. And go ahead and change the cross of your feet, which will feel funny. Okay. So we're going to twist. I'm going to twist with intention this first time. So when we twist, we want to twist with our ab muscles. So the first thing we're going to focus on is our heart. And as we inhale up, the heart lifts up and we're extending the spine. And then as we exhale, we'll twist to the right, using your ab muscles, not so much your hands. Imagine that the crown of your head is above your heart, which is above your tailbone. Even as you're twisting, you're not leaning back too far, you're not rounding your back. And as this is a warm-up, think about how your back feels right now. Do you need to be cautious the rest of the class in your twisting? Do you have a rib that's tight, a muscle that's tight? Inhaling to center. And then, so inhale, heart tall, and then as you exhale, twist to the left. With each inhale, we want to envision that we're lifting the spine up. Exhaling, we're using our ab muscles to twist, but we're also relaxing the back muscles. Again, asking the back how it feels on this side. And inhaling to center. We're going to stretch to the side now, so you take your right hand and out to the side. And then with your left hand, come up. Nice strong left hand. The fingers are always reaching. And then continue reaching to the side. Okay, then inhale all the way up. And we'll switch sides, so the left hand down to the floor, inhale the right hand up, and then stretch over to the other side. And inhale up. We're going to warm up our shoulders now, so we find our hands open. Good. And every time we have our hands out, they're working, not flappy hands. Working hands. And we're going to focus on our scapula, shoulder blades, so they come back, right, with an inhale. And then as we exhale, we come forward and round our back. So inhaling, open. And exhale, round forward. Inhaling, open. And exhale, round forward. One more time, inhale, open. And then as we exhale, we're going to move to eagle arms. So the right arm crosses under the left. And then you continue to wrap the hands. There you go. So the thumbs end up coming towards your face. Hands are strong. Fingers are pointing towards the ceiling. And then inhaling, open. Exhale, round your back. Inhale, open. Exhale, round your back. One more time, inhale, open, and then eagle arms, the left under the right, or the opposite of what you did last time. Remember that the hands are strong, fingers are pointing up towards the ceiling, and the thumbs are coming back towards your face. And go ahead and inhale, open. Good. Now we're going to come to table, so hands and knees. Ensuring that the wrists are underneath the shoulders and the knees are underneath the hips. And we're just going to take a nice little rocking motion with the hips, and we're going to roll the hips around. Keeping the hands on the mat, let your shoulders move around. It should feel really good on your back. Again, this is a nice time to ask your hips how they feel, if one side hurts more than the other. Moving your back around. And then pause and go the opposite way. And then pause in center, and we'll change to cat-cow. So with an inhale, we draw the belly down, the gaze comes up. As we exhale, we round our back like a cat, pushing our spine up. So inhaling cow, and exhale cat. Inhale cow, and exhale cat. And let's change this next one. See if you can find yourself in constant motion. Inhaling cow. So you might have to slow the motion down and exhale cat. So at the point where the inhale changes to the exhale, or vice versa, you change the movement and you're constantly in motion. So following your own breath, the inhale cow and exhale cat. This is a tiny little flow sequence where we're mapping up our breath with our movement. And then finishing that and pausing at center. We're going to bring our right foot out to the side. Paying attention to the alignment points that the left hip is above the left knee. We're not open too far. And that the right foot is flat on the floor, be it parallel to your mat or not, just depending on what your ankle likes. And now we're going to rock back and forth. Should feel mighty nice on the hip. And then pausing that. Find your core muscles, and we're going to bring the torso all the way up. And find the left hip and push the left hip forward. There you go. Should be a nice stretch right there. And then the left hand comes up to the ceiling, and then we're going to stretch all the way to the side. So while we're stretching to the side, let's make sure that the left armpit isn't rolling forward, the left chest isn't rolling forward. Just stretching straight to the side. And then go ahead and inhale up, and then bring to hands and knees to table, and switching to the opposite side. So the left foot comes out to the side. Right hip over the right knee. Left foot flat on the floor, parallel to your mat or out at 45. And then rocking the hips back and forth. And then pausing in center, find the core muscles and bring the torso up, pushing the right hip forward. And then when you're ready, inhaling the right hand up and continuing to stretch over to the left. And then coming up, let's return back to table. We're going to do one more motion in this warm-up. We're going to do this little sequence, and it's going to be moving from child's pose to table to downward facing dog. So, focusing our efforts on child's pose where we push our seat back to our feet. Reaching the hands forward, and the forehead comes down on the floor or the mat. This is child's pose. So with an inhale, we would come up to table, and then the exhale, roll the toes, push the hips up for downward facing dog. Calves might be tight, so we're going to ignore that for a second. Inhaling to table, exhaling to child's pose. Inhale to table. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, table. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, table. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, table. Exhale, child's pose. Now we're going to focus on this breath control. We're going to slow down the movement to let the pace of your own breath guide your movement. So don't rush the breath, slow down the movement. We're going to put the breath and the body together now. So try to do this motion, this sequence, to where you're constantly in motion and it feels very fluid. So inhaling to table. As you change to your exhale, start traveling through to downward facing dog. As you're stopped in downward facing dog, inhaling to table, and then exhale to child's pose. So inhale, table, change to downward facing dog with the exhale. Inhale to table, and exhale, child's pose. We're going to do that 2 more times with your own breath. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, exhale. 1 more time. And as you come to child's pose, pause, rest. Let yourself settle down to the mat. So, standing at the top of the mat, activate the feet, lifting up, heart lifts up, shoulder blades are down, inhaling all the way up, and exhale down. Inhale halfway up, flatten out the back, and exhale down, inhaling all the way up, and hands down to the heart. Inhaling up, exhaling down, halfway up, and back down. Inhale all the way up, hands back down to the heart. 1 more time, inhaling up, exhale down, inhale halfway up, and down, all the way up, hands down to the heart. And inhaling up, exhale down, halfway up, and downward facing dog. Bending the knees in downward facing dog, walking the feet back and forth, and then inhaling forward to plank. Let's go ahead and lower knees, chest, chin, elbows come straight back. Inhaling up for cobra, back to downward facing dog. Stepping all the way forward, inhaling all the way up, hands down to the heart. Inhale up, exhale down, halfway up, downward facing dog. Forward for plank, knees, chest, chin, inhale up, downward facing dog. Stepping forward, reaching all the way up, hands down to the heart. 2 more times, just like that. Inhale up, exhale down, halfway up, downward facing dog. Forward for plank, lower knees, chest, chin, inhale up for cobra, back to downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank again. Pause, a trick chin. And we're holding this plank for a minute. Remember that the elbows are slightly bent, elbows facing each other, pushing the heels away towards the wall. Continue to breathe. Focus on keeping the core work. Use the abs to press the back up. That certainly is a long minute. 15 more seconds. And then go ahead and release, knees, chest, chin. Inhaling up for cobra. Back to downward facing dog. Stepping forward. Inhaling all the way up. Hands down to the heart. 1 more time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Halfway up. Downward facing dog. Forward for plank, lower knees, chest, chin. Inhale up for cobra. Back to downward facing dog. Stepping forward to plank, top of the space. Inhale all the way up. Hands down to the heart. So we're going to change now. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Halfway up. Let's step the right foot back long. Drop the back knee. Inhale up for crescent, modified. Hands are reaching up nice and strong. Letting the hips sink down. One more breath here. And we're going to bring the right hand down by the left foot. And exhaling, twist. And then back to center. Inhale back up to that modified crescent. And then downward facing dog. Forward for plank. Hold the plank. Five more seconds. And then we're going to switch it up and move to reverse plank. That's what we're going to do. Drop the knees, cross the feet, roll back onto the seat. Hands are out. Legs are straight. And inhaling up for reverse plank. Hold the plank. The neck is in control. The heart is lifting up. And release that. Back to downward facing dog. Stepping all the way forward to the top of your space. Inhaling all the way up. Hands down to the heart. Inhale up. Exhale down. Halfway up. Left foot steps back. Inhale up for this modified crescent. Lifting the hands up, shoulder blades come down the back. It's a slight back bend. And then the left hand comes down. Notice that the knee stays tight towards the center and twisting to the opposite side. And inhaling, untwist, and back up to the modified crescent. And then back to downward facing dog. From this downward facing dog, forward to plank, hold the plank. And 15 more seconds on the plank. And go ahead and cross the feet, roll back onto the seat, move to reverse plank. Hands are out to the side, inhaling up, lifting the heart up. Toes are attempting to come down to the floor, lifting the hip bones. Then go ahead and release that, roll back to downward facing dog. And stepping all the way forward to the top of your space. Inhaling up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Halfway up. Right foot steps back. We're going to crescent. Full crescent this time. Hands are reaching up. Knee is nice and strong, pointing straight forward. Back leg is straight. Straight, straight, straight. Use your hamstring to straighten that leg. And then the right hand is going to come down. You can come on your block if you want. And then twisting, keep the hand on the hip. This front knee stays in midline. Okay, don't move, listen for a second. We're going to untwist, square the shoulders to the mat, and move back to crescent. It's a little bit of balance in the hips. So exhaling, untwist, square the shoulders to the mat, inhaling up. Good job. Pausing, lifting up, straighten the back leg, and downward facing dog. Forward for plank. Let's try the lowering plank with the legs straight now. Lowering down and moving to cobra. Pause in this cobra, breathe. All 10 toes are on the floor. Your elbows are squeezing in towards your torso, and the elbows are squeezing back towards your feet. You should feel your back working. One more breath, keep breathing. And then move back with intention, back to downward facing dog. Stepping to the top of your space. Inhaling all the way up, and hands down to the heart. Inhaling up, exhale down, halfway up, right foot steps back. Oop, left foot steps back. To crescent. Back leg is straight. A lot of times you're going to think it's straight, but it's not. You really need to use your hamstring. Push the heel away, straighten the leg. Front ankle is active, working, toes are lifted, knee is strong. Shoulder blades down the back. You can have them arms here if your shoulders are hurting. Hands are strong. One more breath. Then the left hand comes down to your block. And we're going to keep our hand on our hip and we're going to twist. Front knee stays in midline. Remember this move as we exhale, square the shoulders to the mat, inhale back up to crescent, pausing in this crescent. One more breath, then back to downward facing dog. Forward for plank, and lower down, cobra. Downward facing dog. Stepping to the top of the mat. Inhaling all the way up. Hands down to the heart. So we're going to work on some standing poses now. So standing at the top of the mat. Find your feet. Connect with your breath. Slow it down if you need to. We're going to move to some open hip warrior 2 strength building poses. So with the left foot forward, right foot's going to step back long. Heel arch in line, okay? Front knee bends and goes straight forward. Pelvis is stable. And inhaling up to warrior 2. Gaze is soft, shoulders are down, hands are reaching out. So, finding the breath, we're going to stay here for a little bit, okay? Talk yourself into using all your muscles to support you. One more breath here. Then inhale the front leg straight. Hopefully your block's over there. Exhaling, reach forward, reach forward. Find your block for triangle. Torso rolls open. Shoulders stack on top of each other. Your hand can be on your hip on the top. Here. We don't need to hurt the shoulder. Okay? Stay here. Or if you wanted a little more core strength, reaching the top hand out. One more breath. Connecting with the block. Press the back foot down. Bring yourself up. Move back to warrior 2. Downward facing dog. And forward to plank. Hold the plank for a couple of breaths. We're going to switch it up and move to reverse plank. So drop the knees, roll back on the feet, move to reverse plank. You could always do reverse table, which looks like so. So now we're going to add in boat pose, a little bit of core work. So finding your glutes, getting them out of the way. So we start here, heart is lifted, face is soft, hands are out. Feet are and knees are hip wide, intentional. Step 2, right here, if you find that you can't hold this, go back to the next one. Don't just bail. Go to the next easier version. If you feel froggy, go ahead and straighten your legs for both, or come back to here. So we're going to stay here. You can stay here or kick it up a notch. We're going to do low boat, so going down and up and down and up and down and up and down, up and hold it. See how the feet stayed intentional and are flailing around? Holding it, low boat, high boat, low boat, and 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hold it, and up, and across the feet. Back to downward facing dog. Good job. Stepping to the top of the mat. Move the block to the other side. Inhaling all the way up. Exit, hands down to the heart. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale halfway up. Exhale down. Inhale all the way up. Hands down to the heart. So that sequence on the opposite side. Right foot stays forward. Left foot steps back. And warrior 2. Knee bends straight forward. Pelvis is neutral. Hands lift up. Gaze above the fingers. Nice and easy. Toes are lifted. One more breath. Inhale the front leg straight. Exhale, reaching forward to triangle, using your block. One more breath. Then back to warrior 2. Holding the pose. Toes are lifted. Lifting your belly up towards your heart. And then inhaling top hand up for reverse warrior. Try to keep the front knee perfectly straight forward. It'll want to curve in a little bit. You'll have to work at it. Exhaling back to warrior 2. Inhaling the front leg straight. Exhale the triangle. One more breath. Inhaling up, warrior 2. Collect yourself. Tell yourself you're strong. And then downward facing dog. Forward for plank. Hold the plank. Five more seconds. Then cross the feet. Roll back onto the seat. We're going to find boat again. So move the glutes out of the way. Find the balance point. Stay here. Or come up to here. Okay, we're going to try to keep our knees and our feet together. We're going to twist. As slow as fast as you want to go. This one wants to be controlled with your breath. Nice and strong. Couple more times. Hang in there. Center to boat. Add in a low boat. Back up. Low boat. Back up. There's 3. And up. 4. And up. One more. And up. Hold it. And good job. Downward facing dog. Stepping all the way forward to the top of your mat. Inhaling all the way up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Inhale halfway up. Exhale down. Inhale all the way up. Hands down to the heart. So we're going to practice some balance poses now. You can use your block, a little bit of help. So left foot in the middle. We're going to stand on it first. We're going to practice Warrior 3 with the option of half moon. So Warrior 3, we'll start in an easier version where we lift up the leg. The right leg's nice and strong. So you can look like so. Notice that my hip is not up. Keeping the right hip down. Have someone look at you. It's deceiving. It's hard to find out. You can stay here or kick it up a notch by bringing your hands out the airplane. You can stay here if you like, or block goes on the right side, and you roll the hip open, and we're moving to half moon. Exhaling down, we're returning back to Warrior 3, not quitting yet. Keep the foot lifted up in the air. Try your airplane arms again. Hands up. Bring the heart up. And shake, 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 shake. Good job. Switching to the other side. Right foot plants. Bringing the leg up. Torso comes down. Almost like you're aboard here. Okay? Hand can connect with this block if you want to. Try to focus on the raised leg being straight. Foot working. Hip down. If you want to kick it up a notch, go ahead and bring the hands up. For airplane arms. Stay here, bring your hands down or move to half moon, connecting with the block on the right side. So we're in half moon. Here we are. Not quitting yet. Go ahead and bring the hip back down. Move the block a little bit if you want to. Raised leg is strong and straight. Airplane arms. Bring the hands down, lift the torso up, and shake, 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 shake. Good job. Okay, so we're going to practice tree pose. Let's plant the left foot. I'm dyslexic. Left foot. And so tree pose, the right foot snuggles in with the calf, or all the way up top, never on the knee. And tree pose. Notice that the toes are lifted on the foot on the floor. Actually, my toes are working on the other one as well. Hands at the heart, settling down. We're going to try to get this knee out to the side without twisting the hips. And once you're ready, go ahead and lift the hands up. Hands are strong, reaching up. Your gaze can move up to the corner of the wall and the ceiling. And then go ahead and release down. Release the foot, and shake, shake, shake. Moving to the other side. Right foot plants, left foot snuggles in with the calf, or all the way up top. Hands at the heart. The foot on the floor is not gripping the floor with the toes. Use the four corners. Knee is pressing out. You can stay here if you want a little bit extra challenge. Bring the hands up. Hands are reaching up. Nice and soft face. Gaze can go up to the corner of the wall and the ceiling. One more breath. Hands down to the heart. Go ahead and release it. Standing to the top of the mat. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Inhale halfway up. Downward facing dog. Forward for plank. Knees, chest, chin, nice and easy. Inhale up for little cobra. Back to downward facing dog. Stepping all the way forward. Inhaling all the way up. Hands down to the heart. Inhale up. Exhale down. Halfway up. Downward facing dog. Forward for plank. Knees, chest, chin. Inhale up. Cobra. Downward facing dog. And stepping all the way forward. Inhaling all the way up. Hands down to the heart. One more time. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Halfway up. Downward facing dog. Forward for plank. Knees, chest, chin. Inhale up. Downward facing dog. Stepping forward. Reaching all the way up. Hands down to the heart. So, how we're going to start, you can put this with a yoga video at the end. So we're going to start with our back flat. And we want to make sure that there's space underneath our back. Our lumbar spine is curved like this, so it needs to remain that way. And this is key on hamstring stretching. So we're going to use our strap. And the other leg can be slightly bent. It doesn't matter really what the leg's doing, just that it's active. So the leg like this is an awesome place to start. If your leg is trembling, you need to ease up on it a little bit. And making sure that the back is still off the mat. One of the places we go wrong in our hamstring stretching, and I hope that you're stretching your hamstrings at this time while you listen, is that once the hamstring has reached its full length and you continue to go further, all you're doing is tilting your pelvis and you're not stretching your hamstring anymore, and in fact, you're stressing out the attachment points. So, the rule of this stretch is that the leg is not trembling, it's not crying, it's not screaming, and your back is off the mat. If you want to help the hamstring a little bit, find the belly of the muscle, connect in with it, and tell it it's okay to release. So we stay here a little bit longer because the hamstrings need some time to stretch. Okay? So we're stretching the hamstring. After a while, I'm holding this. We've been holding this for 2 minutes now. You can go a little bit further perhaps. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to take our strap in our opposite hand, and see I have rotated and I'm bringing my heel closer towards my face, and I'm taking my heel across my body a little bit, and then bringing my foot towards my face. And so I've gotten out to the IT band. So I'm keeping my hip down, and my knee is slightly bent. It's not completely straight. So a nice stretch. This hip series is meant to hold these stretches for over a minute, so be patient, settle in. If your back starts hurting, half everything, but work towards the minute. Okay, and then back to center. If you have one of these straps, keep a hold of this D-ring. Okay, we're going to open the leg out to the side now, so my foot's working and active. If your leg stops here, that's fine. You want to keep this other hip down. Don't rock over here. You're not stretching anything. This is just the pelvis is moving. So we're back to here and stretching open. Again, staying here for a while. This is a really good stretch for your inner thigh. Okay, let it get tight. Guys generally have a tighter inner thigh than the ladies. Just how they're built. The muscles, after they've been stretching for a minute or longer, they can get cranky. So as we transition up, you can help that leg up with the strap. That's okay. We're not here to work. We're here to relax. And so notice that I straighten my hips up a little bit. We're going to bring the leg over and rotate a little bit. But what I want you to do is I want you to bring this elbow and this shoulder and roll with you. I want you to get your hips in place first, and then we'll worry about the shoulder. A lot of people keep this anchored and things go bad. So take your hand and your shoulder with you. So I'm rolling all the way over, and I'm stacking hip over hip. And see, notice how my shoulder has come with me. Okay? So this foot is active. I'm keeping my hand active with my strap. Once you're here, and that foot is active as well, you could stay here and stretch. If this foot here is really active, you're going to get a lot of IT band hip strength stretching, and that's good. The next part of this is to open the chest, so we try to rotate and get the shoulder back down and roll the hand open and look the opposite way. Staying here, trying to relax. So use your breath to help the back muscles relax. If you have a lot of pain here, just bring the arm back in. Okay, and then as we come out of this, bring your arm in and then roll back to flat. Get your hips and your shoulders square together on your mat, bring your feet up, and then we're going to switch sides. So the hamstring stretch on the left side. And you might have a different hamstring length on that side. My left hamstring is shorter than my right, so I have to pay attention to that. A little less resistant to stretching. So the foot is active. This leg can be straight if you want. The foot's active down there as well. And remember, he's not trembling. The lower back is off the mat. And we stay here and we relax and let the hamstring let go. So over a minute. And then moving on to the next, we rotate the leg. We're rotating it externally outward. Bring the leg across the body a little bit, switching the hands, and then bringing the leg towards the face. Okay, keeping this foot and leg straight and active, and keep that hip down. I'm pressing here this way and pulling this way, really stretching IT band, my hip, outside hamstring. So my foot's really active, so the stretch is coming through the knee and down into the posterior side of my leg. And releasing that, bringing it back to center. Keeping the right hip down. You use your abs right here to keep your hip down. And then rolling the leg open out to the side. Notice how my hip's not coming up. I'm using my abs to keep the leg and the pelvis stationary. And then coming out of that, you use your strap in your hand to bring your leg up. And then continue rolling all the way to the other side, rolling all the way onto that hip. You don't need the strap. You don't use the strap. Remember, though, that we're getting the hips squared first, so the hip over the hip, the feet are active. And then as I roll my chest open, I'm asking my shoulder how it feels. Using my breath, the exhales, to help my back to relax. And then we stay here for a minute or more. The gaze can go straight up if you want. You don't have to turn your neck the other way. If your neck is cranky, that's okay. You can look the other way, or you can keep it looking straight up. And then coming out of this, we're going to lose the strap for a second. As we roll back, we square the shoulders, square the hips together. We're going to do what I call number 4 stretch. I'm sure a lot of other people do. We're going to work on the piriformis now. Key point and rule, important. This foot is always flexed. Okay, the foot's coming back towards the knee. Okay, so you might find enough stretch here and maybe push the knee a little bit. If you feel any pain, any discomfort in the knee, please just stop. So the next part is bringing the other foot up towards your face. You can reach through that hole and pull your knee forward. Notice that my neck and my face are relaxed. My feet, both of my feet are working. And I feel a really good stretch through the hip, hamstring. If you have a tight piriformis, you'll feel this. A lot of people go to pigeon pose as a good stretch. I find that this one is safer for the athletes because it's not so weight-bearing and uncompromising, where this you can move around a little bit. And then releasing, put your feet square up your hips to your shoulders, and switch to the other side. Again, foot is flexed, keeping the knee joint together. You can stay here, push the knee out a little bit, or bring your leg up and reach through. Notice that the feet are very active. The active feet, dorsiflexed, helps keep the knee joint together. It will rotate a little bit. That's why we get our meniscus problems. And the reason why that happens is because the hip causes knee problems. The hip is so much stronger than the knee, just in how it's built, how it is. It's a ball and socket versus the knee as a hinge. But with lazy leg muscles, the knee can twist a little bit. So that's where we get into trouble. And release that, and you can shake the knees around a little bit. Okay, this stretch I really like, but if you, it can be a pose that you can't do if you have really tight knees or you have other issues. So here's the idea of it, is that I'm grabbing my feet and my knees are centered together. Guys will have a little bit more of an issue with this one, but still try it. Okay, see how my feet are flexed? And the idea is that my back's coming up off the ground a little bit, that's fine. The idea is that I'm pulling my feet towards the floor. Okay? And you're going to find a really good hip stretch. You might be more like this or like this, and that's okay. You'll work towards flexibility in the hip. So we stay here, try to stay here for a minute. Remember that the feet are flexed. I'm trying to pull those legs in. Keeping the back on the mat is good. And release. And shake around a little bit. And then switch to the other side. So the feet are flexed, and you're trying to pull the knees, the feet towards the floor, towards your head. And go ahead and release that and shake it out a little bit. So here's the point where most people would do Happy Baby. I don't really like Happy Baby too much, but I'll show you how to do it. Some people just don't like Happy Baby because there's a lot of crunching that goes along in here. Try not to avoid Happy Baby if you need to, but if it's very painful and you never get anywhere with it, that's okay. So Happy Baby, your feet are up and you're grabbing the outside. It's a really good inner thigh stretch. The idea is that the feet are parallel to the ceiling and that the knees are coming down towards your armpits. The back is on the mat. So this would be happy baby. Or you could just lay here, your knees, your feet out, your knees together, and rest for a moment. Closing the eyes, breathing deep. And we'll breathe deep for about 5 seconds. And then waking the body up. Help yourself come up. Tell yourself, good job.